Welcome to PhotoshopUser TV, brought to you by the National Association of Photoshop Professionals. And now, here are your hosts, the Photoshop guys.
Dave's still on there.
Hey everybody, welcome to another live episode of PhotoshopUser TV, brought to you by the people who make PhotoshopUser magazine. Oh my gosh, that's Corey holding it right there.
There you have it.
Wow, PhotoshopUser.
It's a colorful issue this
It is a very colorful issue.
It is.
Well, welcome everybody. We've got a great show put together for you for reasons we can't begin to understand. But I would like to introduce to my co-host today, to my immediate left as opposed to my far left, Mr. Corey Barker.
Hello. Good to have you.
And way over there is Mr. Pete Collins.
How's it going? I was waiting for Corey's lower third there to disappear so that then mine can come up.
Okay,
right
you're not
here.
supposed to look at the
right
monitor.
There,
you're
there
supposed
we go.
to look
See,
at
I want
the
people
camera.
to pay attention to me.
Okay,
I'm Pete Collins. Hey guys, how's it going?
Okay, don't look at that video. You're supposed to look at the other one. All right. Hey, Jessica, the Photoshop girl, is not here today. She's working on a book deadline. She is a book designer.
Absolutely.
So she's got a massive deadline that is due like immediately. So she said, I need to be focused on my job.
Really?
Instead of her other job.
That's what she said?
Instead of her other job.
Oh, well.
So she's not here for this show, but we'll miss her. And hopefully she'll be back in 6 to 8 months.
We miss her and we'll reprimand her later.
We'll reprimand her greatly later. Hey, we have a deal for you. We have some giveaways and stuff. Of course, what's our giveaway?
Well, we have giveaways for later. Where did it go? It's right here.
Later, but we still have them.
It fell on the floor. Here it is. Yes, we have the Perfect Photo Suite.
Perfect Photo Suite.
7.
It's not exactly perfect once you've dropped it on the floor, but it's in good shape.
The package isn't perfect, but the software is immaculate.
Perfect. It is immaculate.
Yes.
Also, we have a deal from Peach Pit Press. They always give like a special deal. So they're giving away, I'm sorry. So I was talking to my editor, Ted Wade, on the phone right before, and he asked me, for reasons nobody knows, to actually do this in a British accent.
The whole show or just this part?
No, just this part, because it's their deal from Peach Pit.
Make it happen.
Okay, we've got a limited time offer, 40% off the Sony NEX6 from snapshots to great shots by this guy Jerry Foster. Never heard of him, not sure he's qualified to write a book, doesn't matter. It's ebook price, $19.99, but if you take the Kelby TV price with 40% off, it's only $11.99. Now, you offer use coupon code Kelby TV, and this offer ends 6/15.
How does that translate to pounds?
And the code is actually, I had to beat him to death with his own shoes. No, it's not the code. Code is Kelby TV. Okay, I'm done. So anyway, that is that. Jared Foster, just totally kidding about the unqualified. I'm sure he's at least as qualified as Corey. You've written books, right?
A couple.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I have a tutorial for you to start off. So my tutorial is not going to use 3D.
Really?
But it's a 3D effect.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Anyway, the reason why I thought about this was we're working on building these little 3D books and things. So this is any kind of packaging or a box or anything. So we're working on this for our website this week. And I thought, hey, I'll make a cool tutorial. And what I hate most about it, though, is it's going to show the cover of my latest book, which I hate. So you can go ahead and look at,
It's sneak peek.
Sneak peek. Oh, I hate that we're showing the cover of my book. If there's anything that I hate, it's showing my own products.
Yes.
Anyway, so
we know this. Yes.
Okay, this is the cover of the book. We're going to take this, create a 3D version of the book, and I'll show you exactly how we do it here in-house. So it starts off by just selecting the image and then hitting copy. All right, so copy. We're going to move this over to a blank document. All right, so let me make the document a little smaller. We'll paste it in there, and it's a little big. So I'm just going to use free transform to size it down. And of course, you already know the keyboard shortcut. It is Command-T on Mac or Control-T on PC. And so now we have the cover there. So we're going to create a spine for the book. So what I usually do for the spine is I usually take like part of this part of the cover here, like maybe all the way over, because it's just color, right? Black, and then it's orangish. And then it's gray, and then it's part of her. So I'm going to have to get rid of that little piece of their logo there. But I made a selection, and I want to cut that off and put it on its own layer. So I just press Command-J on Mac or Control-J on PC, and it actually makes a copy. You can see it made that little copy there. Now, we will have to zoom in down here to get rid of that stuff that says New Writers. So what I'm going to do is just put a selection around it. And nothing against New Writers. We like them quite a bit, actually. And we'll just fill that with black. So I just hit Option-Delete on Mac, or Alt-Backspace on PC, and now it's filled. So now, we have two layers. One layer with just the spine, one layer with just the cover. So we start with the cover. Let's press Command-T to bring up Free Transform. Now, you're going to need to know this keyboard shortcut. This keyboard shortcut allows you to do perspective. On Mac, it's Shift, Option, Command. On PC, it's Shift, Alt, Control. You hold those 3 keys, you'll know you're doing it right if you get carpal tunnel syndrome. All right, and then just drag the bottom corner up, and it gives a kind of perspective effect. The problem is it also stretches the cover, right? So let go of your keys, let go of all the keys, grab the center one, and just scooch it back in until it looks normal. All right? Now you're going to kind of do the same thing to the spine. But before you do that, you're going to want to add some text to the spine. So I'm just going to grab the type tool, and we'll write the Lightroom 5 book for digital photographers. All right, and then we're going to rotate it, using Free Transform, of course. We will move it over onto the spine. It's kind of big. We'll use Free Transform to scale it down. Free Transform is just really handy, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Scale it down to where it fits on the spine. Something like that, all right? Now, at this point, well, would it go the other way, though? Would it go this way on the spine?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, there we go, all right. And would it be white, maybe?
White would be better.
Would be more
Right,
visible,
so I'm switching my foreground color to white. I just press the letter X and it toggles these 2 colors. Then to fill my text with white is Shift, Option, Delete on Mac or Shift, Alt, Control on PC. I don't know if it looks that good in white. What do you think, Pete?
It's a little hard to see from here.
I don't know, I think perhaps if you did the red.
Maybe the red. Ooh, the red on the gray? All right, he says do the red. So we're going to steal this red color and then do the same thing. Shift, Option, Delete.
Nah.
How about the green?
Perhaps the black.
The
Or
blue?
green.
No.
Oh, absolutely.
Forget
I think
that.
the white's
green?
going to show up best.
It's either
Okay,
gonna be
black
the black
it
or
is.
the white, yeah.
Black it is. See all the time we wasted on that? Okay. Now, you have to merge this text with the spine because you're going to transform this. So to take the layer that you're on and merge it with the layer directly below it, there's a shortcut, and it becomes one layer.
That's right.
Command-E. That's on Mac. If you have Windows, it's Control-E. Okay. Now, you're going to do a perspective effect to this little thing. Go to Free Transform. And what you have to do is, I'm going to move this over so you can see, we'll zoom in. You kind of have to match the perspective. So we're going to hold those 3 keys that we learned earlier. Did you remember them, Corey?
Shift, Option, Command.
Yes, Shift, Option, Command, very good. Like I really needed to tell you that. Okay, so I'm going to kind of make it, see how it like kind of mimics that? But it's usually a little bit too long, right? So we're gonna have to scale it down. We go to the bottom, we'll just grab the middle point and kind of scale it up a bit. And let's make sure the top is still okay. Right, so there we go. It kind of fits a little, maybe a little tiny bit long. There we go. And so now it looks like it's kind of bent. Now you have to now move this to where it touches the spine. So I'm just going to get the Move tool. I'm going to use the right arrow key and just nudge it over like that. And you can see it's a little long right at the bottom. So I'm going to zoom in. The reason you zoom in is because it's hard to get that center point when it's really small. Just tuck it up a little like that.
There you go.
Now, we have to do some things to help with the 3D-ish of the side. First off, we're just going to go to levels, just plain regular old levels. And I'm going to make it darker. So you grab the bottom one over here, and look, the bottom slider, not under the histogram, but the one all the way at the bottom, output levels, and that just kind of makes it darker, like there's a shadow on that side.
Very nice, yeah.
All right. And we click OK. Now, so it looks like it, but it's too hard of a turn, it's too hard of a cut. So we're going to merge these 2 layers together. We use that same keyboard shortcut, Command-E, to merge this layer with that layer, so now it's all one book. But here's what makes it look more realistic. We're going to take the rectangular marquee tool, and we're going to draw a selection right down the edge, I mean like right on that edge, and make it really, really thin, like super thin, like just a couple of pixels wide, like that. Then we're going to hide that. So the selection's still in place. It's still really there, but if I press Command-H, at least we can see what we're doing. Now we're going to go to levels again, and we're going to do the opposite thing. Before we used this one, the bottom output level, to darken it. Now we're going to lighten it using this output level, watch. And it creates that bend.
A little crease.
A little crease. That's the word I'm looking for, a crease. Thank you, Corey. It's a little crease along the edge. And click OK. And now we can bring back our selection and hit deselect. Now, the last thing you would probably do at this point, though I think the book might be still a little bit wide. Does it look a little wide? Maybe I could
perhaps a hair.
Tuck it in a little bit like that. Okay, yeah, that looks better. All right. Lastly, we're going to add a drop shadow to it. Now, you can't just add a standard old drop shadow because watch, it looks kind of stupid. You just go to drop shadow.
Floating against the wall.
Floating in mid-air. Right. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have to create one. We're going to duplicate the layer. And we're going to fill this duplicate with black by pressing Option, Shift Option Delete on Mac, or Shift Alt Backspace on PC. And then, of course, shadows usually don't appear in front of the object, do they? They appear not normally. Behind.
Unless the light's behind them.
Unless the light's behind them. Then we're going to take this and lay it down. We're going to go to Free Transform. We're going to hold the Command key if you're on Mac, or if you're on Windows, Control key. You're going to lay it down. And then I kind of grab this. While you're still holding the Command key, it lets you do whatever you want. So you can kind of just make it a little like this. And we're going to pretend the light's coming from that direction. Since we put a shadow over here, probably wouldn't hurt there. Now, we're going to do a couple of things. First, we're going to soften this. Let's go to Blur, Gaussian Blur. We'll add a little softening to the shadow. Then we'll lower the opacity. All right, a bit. Now, I want to see kind of a little bit of it sticking out there on the book, even though it probably wouldn't really work like that. I still want to see a little under there. It still looks good. It looks good. And then we're going to add a layer mask. Now, I just want to say before I add this layer mask, if you're thinking, wow, he's going really fast.
No, he's not.
No, I am. But it's okay, because it's a video. If you miss any step of it, you can rewind it and go, oh,
that's right. Yes.
Okay, so we're going to add a layer mask. Watch, there's a layer mask button. I'm going to grab the gradient tool, and I'm just going to drag in the wrong direction. Start at the book and drag the other way, and it kind of fades off like that. Nice. Now, I would probably do one last thing. I usually create like a couple of different shadows. So I'm going to go to this layer mask, right-click and choose Apply Layer Mask. So the layer mask is there. I would duplicate the layer again, just Command-J to duplicate it. Then I'm going to shrink it down so you only see a little bit of it. Kind of move it over there, just shrink the whole thing down. I'm going to use the Command key so I can just bend it anywhere I want. And then I make this one a little darker and a little closer to the book.
Like a couple of different light sources.
Like a couple different light sources, yeah. We'll just pull this, that's kind of looking icky. There we go, make it a little thinner. Make it go over this way a little bit. So there's like a couple different light sources going. I don't like where that looks. There we go. It's supposed to be actually, yeah, it's supposed to be kind of under. Anyway, so you have a couple different light sources, kind of helps. And the other one I can even make a little softer now that I have a closer one. So you have a couple different light sources, and there you have your 3D book. So if you go to like kelbytraining.com or whatever, you'll see all our books are done like that, and our videos and things like that. They have this little.
Anyway, magazines are all the same. Yeah.
Yeah, everything has this little 3D look to it. So, and again, you know, it was a lot of steps. It was all easy stuff, but it's a lot of steps. So, you know, that's the wonder of video. You can rewind it and watch it again.
Later, but it's live right now.
But it is live right now, so it makes it a little tough. Watch it later. Later on. Hey, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, Corey has something amazing. Yes. Pete has something regular.
maybe even unleaded.
Maybe even unleaded. Ooh, he's quick. Oh, this is why we hired him. Not for the Photoshop skills, for the quickness.
The quick wit.
He's very quick. Did you see that? That's quick. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Did you put a motion blur on that?
Yeah, that was a motion blur.
Yeah. Hi everyone, we are the Photoshop guys. I'm Corey Barker.
And I'm Pete Collins.
And today we're here to talk about a very special offer for NAP and Kelby training members. Wacom Industries is offering their Intuos 5 medium tablet for $50 off. This is exclusive for NAP and Kelby training members, and this offer is good till June 23rd.
And what's amazing about this is the best price you can get this anywhere. Yeah. It's just for our members, and that's pretty exciting.
That's right, and the price is normally $349, and with this offer, it is now $299. Now, where do you find out how to get this discount? Now, go to your member site, go to the discount section, and find out your coupon code, or check your email. Chances are, you've got an email right now that has a coupon code right there waiting for you. So be sure to check that out. Go to Wacom.com, to the online store, and get your Intuos 5 medium. Well, hi everyone, we are back, and as you just saw, Pete and I were just talking about the new deal from Wacom. They're offering $50 off to Kelby and Kelby training members and NAP members. For the medium tablet, the Intuos 5 Medium, $50 off. That is the best price you're going to get anywhere.
Yeah, dude, I haven't seen that price that low anywhere on the web, period.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're a member of either one of those, or both, go get your coupon code. It's probably in your email right now. Make sure you take advantage of that deal. It ends June 23rd. So.
Also, if you are watching this on Tuesday, which means you're watching it live, or you watch it later on Tuesday, or it's really late at night, or maybe it's like after midnight, still technically Tuesday, but anyway, over on my blog today at scottkelby.com, I put up a video from you guys, from Pete and Corey, with tips. It has all kinds of tips and stuff on using tablets.
Just kind of showing you how to take advantage of the tablet.
Yeah, and if you are not a member of either Kelby or NAP, this is a great way. Take that $50 and roll it into a membership, so you help get a great membership and a great tool to use.
I can't believe the tawdry way that you will pimp your
I will
goods.
pimp stuff.
You don't ever see me like using the cover of my book in a tutorial.
I've never seen that before.
That's ridiculous. I'm embarrassed, Pete.
Yeah, it's a shame. Some of us got to bear.
You know, every show you have to pick someone to pick on. And
we've all been there. I was there.
I know. Corey was there for a long time.
Yeah.
Because he was the new kid for like 5 years. But now Pete's the new kid.
And it's actually in my contract.
It is. It is like expect abuse.
Crap magnet.
It was a clause in his contract. So.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Crap magnet.
Oh, crap magnet. That's lovely. That's lovely. So Pete,
colorful.
no, Corey, you're up, aren't you?
Am I up? Okay. Actually, I have some cool stuff with animation, motion graphics here inside Photoshop, because we all know Photoshop does really great things with video as well as animation. So here's a cool trick. If you're doing a slideshow in Photoshop, you can come up with a really cool custom transition. So I've got two images here, one of this guy skiing and then a snowboarder right here. So I'm actually going to take this image and just drag it over to this image. Now, again, if you add the Shift key when you're dragging, it'll just drop it in the center of the document like that. So what I want to do is just have this kind of transition, but I just don't want to do the typical blur transition.
Yeah, the dissolve, right?
I want to have some kind of like, movement or, something, going on. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a layer mask to this image. And I'm going to go and use the gradient tool. And we're going to use a black to transparent gradient, which is the second one right here. I often use the transparent to gradient.
I was hoping for the rainbow.
No rainbow today, no. And I am going to just mask this image. I'm going to use a linear gradient, but ordinarily, if you just did a fade like this, you would just get that nice soft transition. Right. I don't want that. I'm actually going to go ahead and add a layer style to this. Now, going to put, actually no, it's not a layer style. What am I thinking? It is a blend mode. All I'm going to do is change the blend mode of this to dissolve, which is perhaps one of the least used blend modes in world history. But this actually does yield a pretty interesting effect. So back to that layer mask over here, I'm going to go ahead and apply that gradient. And you can see now it looks different. It's got that kind of speckly look.
Oh yeah, I like that.
So
like snow.
What this does is, however, if you go into the layers panel and unlink your layer mask to the layer, this little chain link icon right here, just click on that, it unlinks it. Now when I move the layer mask itself, if I grab the move tool and move it, notice the layer style tends to give that speckly look a little bit of movement, almost like it's kind of an animated type thing. So we're going to animate that because you can actually animate a layer mask here inside Photoshop. So we'll go to the window menu, go down here to timeline, and let's go ahead and create a video timeline here. And I'm going to twirl down to reveal the different properties we can animate. And you notice one of those properties is layer mask position. So I'm actually going to go take this animation to about the 2-second mark right here, and then set a keyframe for layer mask position. And I want that layer mask to be out of view, so it's showing that entire image as it is. And that's where it'll start. So I want that transition to maybe last 2 seconds. So we'll take the playhead here from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. And I'm going to go and grab that layer mask once again. I'm going to hold the Shift key down so it keeps my movement left to right. I'm just going to drag it all the way across so it reveals the image. Now notice the mask is, it's got cut off here because it's, it was the edge of the document. So that's no problem. We'll just make a rectangular selection and fill it with black. Now notice what happened here in the timeline. The moment I repositioned that layer mask, it automatically created a new keyframe because it's already detecting a new position. So now if I go back and it plays through, if I just hit the spacebar, and we get this kind of cool particle transition as we go through.
Dude, that's cool.
Now, here's another cool trick. If I bring this into view here, if you look at that and you think your transition isn't necessarily wide enough, go in here and just run a motion blur on it. Because you're not blurring the particle effect, that's the layer style. And as long as there's some transparency in the layer, that's where the speckling effect is going to go. So blurring this layer mask, all it does is increase the width of it. So notice I can make it considerably smaller or increase the width a little bit here. And as I play it through, I get that cool little particle transition.
How do you come up with this stuff?
Pretty neat, eh?
Yeah.
So again, that's video features. It's also in every version of Photoshop. You know, it's in extended and regular, so very cool stuff. So
you must have a lot of free time on your hands.
Yes.
Well,
Speaking of free time,
what's so disgusting is how fast he comes up with this stuff.
I know,
too.
it's ridiculous.
It's like, oh, wait,
ridiculous.
I can add this, and then I can put in a HDR cat to it, and it's just
but
bam.
also how he thinks to, like, I'm just going to blur this now. I'm like,
Right.
I would have stopped at dissolve. I've never used dissolve for anything in my whole life.
Honestly, you know, I've used it. I could count on one hand how many times I've actually used it, and this is one of the few times it's like, huh, it actually works in this.
Yeah, that's very clever.
Yep. Thanks.
I got nothing after that. I'm just going to go home. No, I wanted to share. I keep getting some questions over on the NAP site and when I give some seminars and stuff. And two questions that keep coming up are, what is the difference between opacity and flow? And what is the difference between opacity and fill? And so I just wanted to give you a quick heads up on what both of those are. So here we are jumping over here. Oh, look, I happen to have, if we jump back out, I just happen to be working on this lovely Cintiq 13 HD that I'm going to pimp. Actually, I love this thing. I've got a couple videos on the NAP site, but I had to go work on some articles yesterday. And so I went off site. I work better sometimes out of the office. So I had this working. All of a sudden, I needed to work on some photos for the article. Well, the great news is I had this in my bag. I just pull it out, and now I've got the two screens going, all the Cintiq goodness right here, and I can compare what I need to do over here. This is such a wonderful tool. I just want to pimp Wacom any chance I get because we love their stuff, and that's why I'm playing with this today. Okay, is that enough pimpage for you there, Scott?
That's pretty pimpy.
Okay,
That was a
so
lot
now
of pimpy.
let's
Very
jump
pimpy.
over. First thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at the difference between opacity and fill in your layers right over here. I'm just going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to make a swatch like that. Okay, we understand that if we drop the opacity, it's going to get more transparent. And it looks like if we do fill, it's going to do the same thing. It's as if they work the exact same way. The only difference you're going to see is once you start to do something like add layer styles to it. So if I just come up here and I grab some random style, let's find one that's really nice. Yeah, that one looks pretty cool. So now if I've got this and I drop the opacity, everything gets lighter. And for some reason, I need to drop back up to normal instead of dissolve.
Hey.
Yeah, I had dissolve just for you right there. Okay, but now if I take the fill and I drop it down to 0, nothing happens. And that's what leads to a lot of people to be confused, because what's happening with fill is it is only affecting the underneath layer, the stroke that you have made. Anything in your effects is going to stay completely opaque. What does this mean, and why does that matter? Well, let's say I wanted to do something, but I didn't want the color of the stroke to be affected in it, or I wanted to do a drop shadow and just a drop shadow. If we take and we just knock out some of these effects so that I just have the drop shadow and say, okay, now it's just going to give me the shadow from the stroke without actually adding any of the color into it. If I bring the fill back up, it starts to add color into it, drop it all the way down, and all that color's gone. This is a great way to make little borders, little tabs, use the effects without having the underlying strokes show through. So opacity is going to knock everything down. Fill is only going to knock down the bottom layer, the stroke that you're using. So it's a great way. I love to use this when I'm working on something. It doesn't matter what I've chosen. I'm just going to do a stroke, knock the fill down, and just show the effects of that layer on there.
He's going to knock fill down.
So there's the difference between opacity and fill. Most people can kind of grasp that one fairly easily. The next one gets people in a little more of a quandary. Yes, I'm going to use the word quandary. Let's say I come in here and I've got opacity and flow set for my paintbrush. If I've got them all set to 100, it's just going to give me that quick blob of color. Well, then the same thing, we drop down opacity and it's going to be lighter. If I bring opacity all the way up and I drop down flow, it's going to be a little bit more of a blob. If I bring opacity all the way up and I drop down flow, it's going to be a little bit more of a blob. If I bring opacity all the way up and I drop down flow, it's going to be a little bit more of a blob. If I bring opacity all the way up and I drop down flow, it's going to be a little bit more of a blob. If I bring opacity all the way up and I drop down flow, it's going to be a little bit more of a blob. If I bring opacity all the way up and I drop down flow, it's going to be a little bit more of a blob. If I bring opacity all the way up and I drop down flow, it's going to be a little bit more of a blob. If I bring opacity all the way up and I drop down flow, it's going to be a little bit more of a blob. If I bring opacity all the way up and I drop down flow, it's going to be a little bit more of a blob. If I bring opacity all the way up and I drop down flow, it's going to be a little bit more of a blob. If I bring opacity all the way up and I drop down flow It doesn't seem to do much difference, but you start to see there's some texture and stuff going on in there. And why this is important, flow, you need to think about it being like the nozzle on a garden hose. You're going to decide how much of that opacity or ink or paint is going to come out at one time. This is going to be important if you're trying to do subtle things, if you're trying to draw, to recreate maybe pencil, a pastel or something like that. If you lower the flow, it's then going to give you a more wispy stroke. Think of it this way. If you wanted to fill up a cup of water and you had a garden hose and you cranked it up to full, you'd blast that water in there and it would fill up and overflow rapidly. But if you turn the flow down to a little bit of a trickle, you could very precisely put in the amount of water you needed to fill up that cup. So opacity is just going to determine how dark it's going to get, whereas flow determines how fast it's going to get there. So how does that work out? For something like when I'm working with pencils, I want to do a pencil sketch or something like that, and I want something that's going to mimic a pencil, I actually have my opacity down low and my flow down low, because what that means is my pencil's never going to get beyond, right now, 25% opacity, but then my flow is just going to keep it coming in with a little bit of texture and a little bit of wispiness to it. And so if you're using brushes, you want to get in there and really work on retouching or whatever, go in there and knock the flow down so you have more control over what's going on. So bottom line is, flow and fill are great tools to have, but we always tend to just use opacity, and we're missing out on some great power that Photoshop can do to help you get that extra precision and technique.
I love flow. She insures my car.
See, I was going to go flow from Mel's Diner.
Actually, no, I don't have progressive.
Yeah, I was going to say that's progressive.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Hey, man, we could talk about insurance all day, but we've got a lot more stuff coming up, and we don't have a lot more stuff. We have some stuff coming up. Hey, before we toss to the break, just want to mention we're all going to be teaching at Photoshop World coming up in Vegas in September.
Absolutely.
We just did a mass mailing, but it hasn't hit anybody yet. If you want to go and get the brochure and see what we're teaching, you can go to photoshopworld.com, click on download the brochure. Can you see my screen? Can you jump to my screen? Yeah. So I've got the Photoshop World brochure here, and it's got, look, it's got me, which is, stupid. And then all of our instructors, there's a bunch more. There we are. All the classes are here. You can really see what's going on.
You can really start to map it out.
Yeah, all this stuff. Everything's there. Hotels, where to stay, and the whole 9 yards. And there's discounts if you join early. Or sign up early. Anyway, you can go download the PDF right now. It's on the site. There was one other thing I wanted to tell you about. Oh, we also have, I don't know if it's up there yet, but we'll have it by tomorrow, I think. Let me go see. Is a letter to your boss. So we wrote a letter that it tells your boss why you should go. So you print it out, put your name in there, and say, hey, boss, send me in.
Those that have a hard time convincing their boss to let them go, we'll help you out a little bit.
Yeah, we'll help you out a little bit if that's the case. Hey, when we come back, we're going to do a giveaway and some stuff. And
wrap it up.
And wrap it up. Come right back. It's going to be amazing. Probably not.
Somewhat.
Get the world's best photography, lighting, and Photoshop training at Photoshop World. Here's the top 10 reasons you should attend. It's 3 non-stop days of real-world training where you can get personal attention and unlimited access to the world's top instructors in Photoshop and photography. When you attend, you'll have chances to experience hands-on live shoots and workshops, outrageous after-hours parties and events, and hundreds of classes for all skill levels, along with dozens of opportunities to network with other attendees. In-depth, one-on-one portfolio reviews from industry professionals and see new cutting-edge technology. Plus, you can even earn continuing education and graduate-level credits from attending. This is the must-attend conference for photographers and Photoshop users. Register before August 2nd and save $100. Sign up today. Photoshop World, the world's best Photoshop and photography conference.
Hey! Something stupid just happened. Anyway.
Not around here.
No way. No way. Eh?
No,
all right. So, Corey, we have a giveaway?
We have a giveaway. As we mentioned earlier, we have the Perfect Photo Suite 7 here from On1 Software, a fabulous software package. And how do you win this? Well, you go to kelbytv.com/contest. Go right inside here to the menu, select the show, select Photoshop User TV, enter your name, email, and enter a comment. We're actually going to pull these at random, so it's like throwing your business card in the fishbowl to get them. Yeah. So we're going to pick it at random. Tell us something. Tell us, if something you want to see on the show, somebody you want to see on the show. I don't know. But
pick on Pete.
Pick on Pete.
It's open season.
It's in my contract.
Yeah. Hey, can I leave one with a quick tip?
Surely.
I have a quick tip. All right. So if you see my screen real quick. So if you want to change the canvas color of your background, if you just right-click, you can choose black, dark gray, medium, light gray, custom.
Very nice.
And here's the thing is, if you just want to mess with somebody,
you're going to go pink, aren't you?
Well, you just go in here and choose a custom color.
Oh, boy.
You just choose some crazy color nobody wants. And you if they don't know that shortcut, they'll have to reinstall Photoshop.
It'd be annoying to
I'm just saying.
I'm sure.
No, they probably wouldn't have to. Hey, a couple things. I'm going on the road with my Shoot Like a Pro tour. I got 4 new cities I just announced, so if you go to Kelby Training Live.com,
yes.
you'll see the cities listed. I think St. Louis, Kansas City.
Hold on.
Oh, hold on, Corey's going to go there. St. Louis, Kansas City, Colorado Springs,
San Antonio,
and San Antonio.
And then Indianapolis. That's in August.
And Indianapolis, home of the Colts. Hey, speaking of football, did you see the Patriots signed Tim Tebow?
I did see that.
Tebow.
Scott, I've decided for your tours to make it easier, if you just plotted out the cities from Living in America, you would know what cities you're going to go to.
All right, well, this is why Pete is here. Hey, well, we're glad you guys tuned in. Don't forget, next week, Photoshop Girl. Can we sing her theme song?
It's Photoshop Girl.
It's Photoshop Girl, oh baby, ooh. Anyway, she'll be here next week. Jessica Maldonado, the coolest Photoshop girl in the planet, will be here. So make sure you tune in. I won't be here next week, which is a huge bonus to you guys watching. Believe me, you'd rather have Jessica because she won't say all the stupid things that I do, and she'll do cooler tips. So
she'll probably still use one of your book covers.
Oh, I hope so. She designed it, right?
Exactly.
I need to send her a note. Please use one of my book covers.
Precisely.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks to all of our sponsors, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
PhotoshopUser TV.
See ya.
Hey, that's Pete.